Hi, welcome to On Today's Ride. I'm Kieran, and this week we're in Taipei, Taiwan, the #1 cycling city in the world. Okay, so, best cycling city in the world. That's a bold statement. Well, I'll immediately qualify it by saying it's the best cycling city in the world that I know. Anyway, one of the reasons, the major reason I would say, is that there is this network of superb, dedicated, completely traffic-free bike lanes. There's kind of a load of rivers crossing Taipei, to these bridges, over to New Taipei. There's a network of rivers, and along all of them are these fantastic bike paths. So anywhere you want to get in Taipei, really, you want to get round Taipei to the south to do the climbs down near the zoo, you just follow the river and you'll be down there in 15-20 minutes. Trying to fight through the traffic would take a lot longer, and they're all really well paved. Get a little bit busy at the weekends, I hear, with families and rollerbladers and all that, but in the weekdays it's great. So it's a beautiful day, as we can see, blue skies. We're headed north along this bike path to Shilin district from the centre of town where I'm staying. And I would say it's the equivalent of staying in Piccadilly Circus in London. I'm right in the centre, not quite as grim as Piccadilly Circus. But within a minute I was on this bike path, and this will take me all the way to Shilin, where I've stayed before. And then I can be in the mountains, Yangmingshan, which we'll see when we come around the corner in a minute. I'd say within 5 minutes. So that's reason number 2 why it's the greatest cycling city in the world. It is ringed by really good climbs, and you can be on them in minutes. Yeah. Anyway, so let's travel a little bit further north, and then we'll get a lovely view of the mountains. Okay, bike path took me up a little suspended bike lane up onto this bridge, crossing over the river, and ahead Yangmingshan. It looks a little bit cloudy on the top, but I think it'll be dry. We'll soon find out. And down from the bridge, and it's like a cyclist motorway. It's so lovely not to have to deal with cars. Got to deal with my gears though, that are a little bit crunchy. Don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so it's worth the price of admission alone. Okay, that's 6 minutes later from that sort of busy centre traffic, and we're out. We're already starting to climb Yangmingshan. We're going to do a left in a bit. My computer tells me 16 kilometre climb, so it's quite a long one. 872 metres of climbing, so average 5%, but I know, as ever, there are some steep bits. And I just met a couple of local riders who told me the top was in the clouds, but it should be dry. So that's good news. Okay, let's get climbing. So we've turned off the main road onto this minor road, and this is going to snake all the way up the hillside to the top. I think this is called the Satellites climb because, you guessed it, goes up to the Satellites. Little steep ramp back there. I've done this a few times before, I remember it. It's a rampy, as they say. So it's Wednesday after the KOM. KOM was last Friday. KOM was dry. Gracias a Dios. The following day, I woke up early and it was pouring with rain, literally all day. The thought of having to go out at 5 in the morning in the pouring rain in the dark to climb up a mountain for 6 hours drenched is unimaginable. So we dodged a bullet there. However, I did get a bit sick after the KOM. I think it was coming on beforehand and I kind of ignored it, but it explains why I found it so hard. I was basically in trouble even after the first hour and a half, and part of that was flat. Anyway, I've had a couple of days to recover. Felt like death on Sunday, and then Monday, wouldn't say I felt like a 100% recovery, but I felt like, yeah, maybe I'll get a few rides in this week. Little roadside shrine. Oh, it's not open today. We'll be open for business. Little prayer on the way up. Okay, we've made it up to the eponymous Satellites. However, that ain't the top. Still another 400 meters climbing. Okay, last steep little ramps, hairpins, then we're at the top. We're almost in the clouds. Looks like it has rained here. Temperature is still 20 something, although it feels cool. The air's cool. Yeah, look, we're just about getting into the clouds now. While we're here, next reason why Taipei is one of the best cycling cities in the world. Look at that road surface. Just look at it. Pristine. As it has been almost the whole way up. Landslide area, proceed with caution. As it is almost everywhere in Taiwan. Yeah, there's a few bad roads, there's a few potholes, but 90% of it is just perfect. Okay, we're at the very top. Oh, look, good timing. See that smoke coming up there? I don't know if you picked that up, but there's hot springs all the way down. Fantastic bridge, and then that's back over to where we're heading on the northeast coast. So we've got a big descent coming. That can only mean one thing: wind noise interference, and thus we're going to cue the music for the downhill. 7-Eleven, Family Mart. Time to talk about convenience stores. It's very much a feature of life, well, in Southeast Asia generally, not Vietnam, but pretty much everywhere else. But Taiwan, man, they like a convenience store here. They are everywhere. They're on not only on every corner, every junction, but on both corners. 7-Eleven is king. Family Mart's probably number 2. This one's very popular with cyclists. There's always a few bikes at this one, partly because they go to the toilet. I mean, you know, convenience stores, they are convenient, but they sell a lot of crap, and everything's in plastic. So, swings and roundabouts. But they do sell some weird stuff, which I quite like. For example, check that out. Boiled eggs in tea. I think Taiwanese 7-Elevens are a step up from Thai ones. They certainly do a good range of like ready meals. When I was touring, I would eat in 7-Elevens quite a lot. The bananas are not individually wrapped in plastic like they are in Thailand. Nice little sushi things, little sort of seaweed rolls, sandwiches, might get a little sandwich, and then the usual sort of junky stuff, snacks, cold drinks, kind of everything you need really. Taiwan has more 7-Elevens per capita than any country in the world. Okay, we're on the coast, a little beach there, surfers. They even do some kite surfing here actually. Maybe I have to come with my kites sometime. Yeah, a little surf cafe. We're going to ride about, I don't know, 15-20k around the coast, and then yeah, just go through that red light round the coast, and then we'll cut in and then back into town. There's a little bit of crazy traffic to negotiate from what I remember, and then we'll get onto the nice riverside bike lanes back into the centre of town. But for now, we just enjoy the coast. Heading back into Taipei. We got to do a bit of riding on the road, unfortunately. There's no bike lane, but like everywhere in Southeast Asia, they're very used to two-wheelers. I mean, Taiwan is used to cyclists, but there's so many scooters around, they are used to people zipping around on 2 wheels. That's what I tell myself to feel safer anyway. Well, at least when you're going fast, it's easier, it's safer. You're kind of going at the speed of the traffic, really. And then we're going to get off this fucking road in a minute, for which I will be eternally grateful. Alhamdulillah. Thanks be to God, we got off that bloody road. I mean, it's kind of fun racing in and out, gunning downhill on the downhill bits, chasing motorbikes, but it's a little bit sketchy. So, got off it onto this lovely dedicated bike path. This will take us back into town where we'll get onto the river and we'll follow. I can't quite remember, I have done this ride several times before, but not for a number of years. I think that's it, that's us off the roads now, so great. Probably another 20k, yeah, maybe another 45 minutes or so. Get back into town, get a cold drink, get something to eat. Great ride. So I found me a nice vegan buffet place. Nice selection. Even the stinky tofu vegan style. Yep. Yeah, so I had a nice place for food. More expensive than Hualien, but we're in the centre of Taipei, so understandable. Unpleasant cuts of meat in there. Yeah, but we're talking £3 a plate rather than £2.50, so not a big deal. Now, I think it's time to talk about across this guy. It's time to and that car. All happening. It's time to talk about tea. Now, my knowledge about Taiwanese tea is pretty limited, as we're about to find out. But basically, there's kind of tea kind of seems to mean 2 things here. Traditionally, camera on. Traditionally, let's get across this green light. Taiwan is one of the great green tea, oolong tea producers in the world. It produces I think there's 5 different classes of types of tea, and Taiwan produces 4 of them. I can't remember the 5th one, but it produces black tea, green tea, white tea, which probably a lot of people haven't heard of, and oolong. And oolong is an oxidized green tea. And I don't entirely know what that means, but maybe we'll find out. So that's your traditional stuff. That's a little bit harder to find nowadays. The young people are not so into traditional oolong tea. What they do like is sort of these tea shops that do sweetened, infused, flavoured teas with lots of ice, which are nice, don't get me wrong, but it's a very different world. Anyway, we'll try both out and see if we can find a young person's tea shop, as I call it, and then we'll see if we can find a traditional tea shop and learn a little bit more. Okay, another weird aspect of Taiwanese life is that they love these things. Yeah? All you stand to win is a fairly crap plush toy, but they're obsessed with them. They're everywhere, these arcades. Well, what can I say? Look, there's another one next door. Crazy. By the evening, those will be full of people playing them. Okay, so bubble tea. First thing is find a tea shop that has an English menu, and I know this one does. And I always have the same thing. Anyhow, grapefruit. So when you order, you choose how much sugar and ice you want. I go for half sugar, and it's still fairly sweet. I don't know what full sugar's like, and I go for a bit less ice, because if you've got less ice, in my world, you've got more tea. Anyway, so that's it. Grapefruit green tea. $60, £1.50. Very tasty, very refreshing, and a really lovely mix of grapefruit and green tea. You can sort of taste both equally strongly. Okay, we're going to get this down us, and then we're going to go off and do a bit of touristing. No, not an ice cream van, but the rubbish van, and it makes that tune everywhere in Taiwan. Very recognisable, shall we say. And they make the music to say, bring out your rubbish. The rubbish truckers are coming. Real tea. Look how pale that lovely tea is. Have a little taste of it. That's the cheaper one. Fantastic tea shop, fantastic teas. This is the Ubik, the Taipei bike share scheme. This is the new version. Now you can just use your card on that directly on the bike. You don't need the docking station thing. And they're good bikes, they're really good. The gears are Shimano, of course, it being Taiwan. And I was going to ride one down this evening, because you can just use your subway card. However, you need to have a Taiwanese telephone number to register. I didn't get a SIM card this time, so I can't use the U-bikes. But the last few times I've been here, I use them everywhere, and they're super cheap. And yeah, just a nice way of getting around town, so you don't have to worry about locking your bike up when you get there. Okay, we're at Bangka Park. It's sunset, and we're at Longshan Temple. Look, Bangka Longshan Temple, built 1738. I think it's the oldest temple in Taiwan. A lot of monks outside. I was hoping to get here for the chanting, but might have missed it.
Na na
Very nice. All the flower offerings. Okay, we've made it to the Nanjichang night market. So, night market's a very big feature of Taiwanese culture, and this is one of the bigger ones. Not the most touristy, I don't think, because it's quite a long way from the MRT, from the subway. I've been to some of the sort of more famous ones, Rahe and Shilin, and there's one near me as well. Can't quite remember the name. Anyway, we'll see what Nanjichang has to offer. Lots of nice foods. Lots of stinky tofu. I can smell it already. Meaty stuff. Gyoza. Always gyoza. On the other side, some sort of looks like fried chicken. They do like a fried chicken here. There'll be seafood. And there's just like simple stuff like peanuts and corn. There'll be people queuing up at a particular stall that's kind of famous, probably thanks to Instagram. Noodles. Ooh, maybe I'll get some noodles. There it is. There's the inevitable Instagram queue for clay oven rolls. I'm not queuing up for 30 minutes for a roll. Not when there's just loads of other food sitting around. Yeah, slightly crazy, but people like to do it. Okay, so that's Nanjichang. I foolishly didn't bring a great deal of money with me, so it was a choice of beer or food, and I went for beer. But I can get some food when I get home. Yeah, so nice little night market. Very few, well, I was going to say Western tourists, very few Western Caucasian tourists, should we say. I've only seen a couple. There may be more Asian tourists here, but it's very different from the other night markets that are a bit of a circus, to be honest. So Nanjichang gets the thumbs up. Right outside my house is a gyoza place, dumpling place, and I'm going for, you just saw them there frying away, the fried dumplings, except they're not called fried dumplings. The direct translation on the English menu is pot sticker, which I like, so I've got a little, I think I got 10 coming for the princely sum of £1.50. There we have it, gyoza. I can't even remember what type I ordered, but it's good shit. I've covered it in chili and hoisin. But you see, just one side is cooked, one side is stuck to the pot, giving it the name, and the other side is just sort of nice juicy gyoza. Okay, breakfast in Taipei. Traditional, I think, soy milk and breadsticks, and I've gone for hot soy milk, sweetened with a turnip cake.
Okay, just soy milk and
turnip cake.
Okay, here or to go? Here. 77.
Okay, well here it is. So turnip cake. Not quite how I pictured it, but it looks good. I put on some sweet sort of hoisin sauce and had to put a bit of chili, and then the soy milk. Now I'm trying to avoid, trying to reduce my plastic use, which isn't easy in Southeast Asia, I can tell you. But to avoid a straw, I'm going to pierce my soy milk with my chopsticks. Very unorthodox. And then, yeah, so I've got hot sweet soy milk, which tastes like hot sweet soy milk. Just a note on soy milk and tofu in Southeast Asia. They're not exclusively vegan things. In fact, they're not particularly vegan things at all. In the West, we associate tofu and soya with vegan food, but in Asia, you often, you'll get a meat dish with tofu, like pad thai in Thailand is pork and egg and tofu. It's certainly not vegan. And drinking soy milk in Taiwan is very much a breakfast thing. So anyway, let's tuck in. Turnip cake, Looks pretty good, spongy. It'll be spicy and sweet and sour and everything else. Okay, well that's breakfast done. Gonna go get ready, go out for a final ride. Gonna head south for a change. Gonna do one of the climbs down there, Mount Kong. And then gonna head for the airport. So, Taipei, #1 cycling city in the world. As this video has gone on, I think I've convinced myself more and more of this standpoint. It grows on me every time I come here. Quick recap. So, bike paths. I've never seen bike paths like they have here. Absolutely superb. Road surfaces. I don't think I've seen a pothole. Choice of climbs and routes from the city centre. Unparalleled. I've never seen anyone. So many good climbs up into Yangmingshan, and then tomorrow I'm going to go south to some different ones. So I don't know anywhere that's even close to this. Maybe, and this will come as a surprise, Medellin in Colombia, but that's got other issues. Oh, grumpy cat. You friendly? Yeah, sort of friendly. Haven't seen many cats here. That's maybe the only negative. Anyway, well, if you disagree with me, if you've been to Taipei and you don't think it's a great cycling city, or perhaps you know of it, one even better, leave it in the comments below. But as usual, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and see you next week from Chiang Mai, northern Thailand, on today's ride.